I never thought dying would feel like this, like slipping into someone else's skin while the world kept spinning without me. My best friend, Lila, the one who'd sworn we'd conquer New York together, had plunged the knife into my back deeper than I ever imagined, framing me for her embezzlement scam that cost my family's firm everything. And in the twisted cosmic joke that followed my accident, I woke up in her body, her life, her lies, ready to unravel it all from the inside. But the real shock? The one line I whispered to my own reflection that first morning. You're not useless, Anna. You're the weapon they never saw coming. It started 6 months ago, back when life in the city still tasted like overpriced lattes and endless ambition. I was Anna Hayes, 28, fresh out of Columbia Law with dreams of climbing the corporate ladder at Whitaker and Sons, the white shoe firm my dad had built from nothing in the 80s. Dad, God. He was the rock. The guy who'd mock my early failures with that gruff laugh, calling me useless over Sunday roasts when I'd bomb a mock trial or flunk an internship interview. Get your head out of the clouds, kid, he'd say, but his eyes always twinkled with that unspoken belief. Mom would just sip her Chardonnay and nod, her way of saying tough love builds character. It stung, sure, but it fueled me. I was going to prove them wrong, make Whitaker unstoppable. Lila Voss was my anchor in the storm. We met at freshman orientation. Two small-town girls wide-eyed at the skyscrapers, me from upstate Rochester, her from some nowhere suburb in Jersey. She was the spark, blonde, sharp-tongued, with a laugh that could disarm a jury. We're gonna own this city, Anna, she'd say, clinking our cheap wine glasses in our shoebox apartment on the Upper West Side. We shared everything, breakups, all-nighters cramming for the bar, even my engagement to Jake, the golden boy prosecutor who'd swept me off my feet at a firm mixer. Lila was made of honor material, the sister I never had. But cracks formed early, if I'd bothered to look. Lila joined Whitaker a year after me, fast-tracked into finance oversight because her uncle was some mid-level exec at a client bank. She dazzled, numbers wizard, schmoozer extraordinaire. While I hustled case files, she wined and dined VPs. It's just networking, she'd shrug when I'd vent about being sidelined. Then came the whispers, discrepancies in the pension fund audits. Millions vanishing into offshore ghosts. Dad pulled me aside one rainy Tuesday, his face like weathered oak. Anna, something's off. Lila's reports. They don't add up. I defended her. Of course. She's family. Big mistake. The betrayal hit like a subway derailment. Jake and I were 3 weeks from the wedding. Rings picked. Venue booked at that swanky loft in Soho. I came home early from a late deposition, arms full of Thai takeout, dreaming of collapsing into his arms. The apartment door creaked open to moans, raw, rhythmic, unmistakable. There, on our bed, was Jake, sweat-slicked and urgent, with Lila beneath him, her nails raking his back like she owned it. They didn't hear me at first. I stood frozen, the bag slipping from my numb fingers, pad thai splattering like abstract art on the hardwood. Anna? Jake bolted up, sheet clutched like a shield, his face draining of color. Lila just smirked, propping on an elbow, not bothering to cover. Oops. Cat's out of the bag. Her voice dripped honeyed venom. They didn't even fight it, didn't deny the affair that had apparently been brewing for months. Turns out, it started at my bachelorette party, when she'd comforted him over my workaholic bullshit. But that was just the appetizer. The real gut punch came days later, when the feds raided Whitaker. Headline screamed, "Embezzlement scandal rocks Wall Street firm, junior associate implicated." My name. Anna Hayes. The fall guy. Evidence planted like confetti. Forged emails from my account. Dummy transfers traced to my login. Dad's firm crumbled overnight. Clients fleeing. Partners jumping ship. He aged a decade in hours, staring at me across the interrogation table like I'd betrayed him personally. How? Anna? How could you? Mom didn't speak. She just cried into her silk handkerchief. The one from their anniversary. Jake? He lawyered up separately, whispering to detectives that I'd been erratic lately. Lila, meanwhile, played the shocked confidant, testifying with crocodile tears about how I'd confided my financial woes. I was innocent, screaming it from the rooftops, but the jury didn't buy it. The trial was a circus, tabloids dubbing me the bride of bribery, protesters outside the courthouse waving signs about corporate greed. Lila sat in the gallery, poised as a senator's wife, her hand occasionally brushing Jake's. Sentenced to 8 years at Alderson, the camp cupcake for white-collar witches. Dad sold the firm to cover legal fees. Mom overdosed on pills 6 months in, her note blaming the shame. Jake filed for divorce from a prison visiting room, citing irreconcilable differences. And Lila? She stepped into my shoes, literally. Promoted to partner at the rebranded Whitaker Voss. Engaged to Jake by Christmas. Their wedding photos splashed across New York social. Prison broke me. Or so I thought. Endless nights in that beige hell. Replaying every red flag I'd ignored. Lila's sudden designer bags. Her evasive glances during budget meetings. The way she'd borrow my access codes for quick checks. Turns out, she'd hacked my credentials months before, siphoning funds to fuel her lifestyle, private jets to the Hamptons, coke-fueled weekends with Wall Street wolves. But she pinned it on me because I was reliable, believable. Her words, leaked in a plea deal she never took. Then, the accident. 2 years into my sentence. En route to a routine medical transfer, some bullshit gynecologist appointment for stress-related issues. The prison van hydroplaned on black ice outside Pittsburgh, slamming into a semi. I remember the screech of metal, the shatter of glass, then nothing. Blackness, thick as tar. When I woke, it wasn't to beeping monitors or fluorescent hell. It was silk sheets, a king bed overlooking Central Park, and a reflection in the vanity mirror that wasn't mine. Lila's face stared back, porcelain skin, ice blue eyes, that signature red lipsticked smirk. But inside,
Me. Anna.
soul swapped, body jacked, whatever you call it.
No explanation.
No note from the universe. Just her life, humming along like I hadn't hijacked it. Her phone buzzed. Jake. Texting miss you.
Babe.
Dinner at Le Bernardin? Her inbox overflowed with board meeting invites. Her closet bursting with Chanel. And buried in her cloud drive, the smoking gun, encrypted files proving she'd orchestrated the whole scam. Even Mom's suicide, a forged prescription pushed by a dirty doc on her payroll. Panic hit first. Then rage, a cold, clarifying fire. I wasn't dead. I was reborn. In her skin, with her power. Dad's grave was fresh in Queens. I'd visit tomorrow. Whisper the truth. But Lila, trapped in my broken body, rotting in a cell she deserved, poetic, but not enough.
No.
This was my canvas for revenge, slow, surgical, controversial as hell. I'd dismantle her empire brick by brick. Make her watch from the shadows as I became the monster she created. And the parents who'd called me useless? Their ghosts would see one line from their failure daughter. And everything changed. I spent the first week mapping her world, a spider in a web of silk and steel. Lila Voss now was untouchable, board seat at Whitaker, advisory role with the Senate Finance Committee, whispers of a run for city comptroller. Jake doted, oblivious, his promotion to ADA greased by her connections. Her bestie circle? Cutthroat socialites trading secrets over bottomless mimosas at Sant Ambrius. I played the part flawlessly, her cadence, her coy laugh, while inside, I seethed. First move, the firm. At Monday's partners meeting in that glass-walled conference room on Park Avenue, I discovered anomalies in the merger files. Guys, this Cayman account, it's bleeding, I said, voice all faux concern, sliding printouts across the mahogany. Eyes widened, Jake's jaw dropped. By Friday, auditors swarmed, tracing threads back to.
Well, not me.
Not yet. Whispers turned to accusations. Lila's old deals? Her uncle, the banker? He lawyered up fast. But the damage stuck, her golden reputation tarnished. Just a smudge. Nights were for deeper digs. In her home office, nursing a Macallan neat, her vice, not mine. I cracked her private server. There it was, the full ledger. She'd started small, padding expense reports, then escalated, using my access to launder through shell core tied to Russian oligarchs. Mom's death, not suicide. Lila had leaned on her dealer contact, spiking the pills with fentanyl to end the loose end. Dad's heart attack post-trial? Stress.
Sure.
But she'd anonymously leaked his medical records to the press, painting him as complicit. The bitch hadn't just stolen my life, she'd salted the earth. But revenge isn't a sprint. I needed allies, ghosts from my past. Enter Marcus, the ex-con I'd bonded with in Alderson's library, tattooed hacker with a grudge against the system. I'd smuggled him a burner phone pre-swap. Ironic.
Huh. And he owed me.
Anna? That you in Voss's meat suit? His gravelly laugh over encrypted line. Holy shit. What's the play? I fed him crumbs. IP traces. Alias drops. He doxed her dirty donors. Leaked donor lists to ProPublica. Headlines screamed comptroller hopeful funds tied to Putin pals. Her campaign stalled before launch. Jake's brow furrowed at breakfast, questioning her past indiscretions. Controversy brewed. Pundits on CNN debated, was Lila Voss a victim of deep state smears? Or the queen of corruption? Feminists rallied. Smear the successful woman, while lock her up trended on X. I fanned flames anonymously. Sock puppet accounts dripping doubt. Heard she framed her BFF for the fall. Check the trial transcripts. Views exploded. Jake's calls grew tense. Babe, this is bullshit. Right? The real knife twist came at her anniversary gala. Black tie affair at the Met. I glided in Versace, arm linked with Jake, flashing that megawatt smile for the cameras.
Senator Hale.
Her mentor cornered me by the Monet. Lila, darling, these rumors. We need to quash them. I leaned in, breath wine sweet. Or amplify. Imagine the headlines if the full ledger drops. His eyes bulged. By dessert, he'd withdrawn endorsement. Jake pulled me aside in the coat room. Voice low. What's gotten into you?
Your
Different. Ruthless. You have no idea, I murmured, tracing his jaw, repulsed, but playing long game. That night, in bed, he reached for me,
but I rolled away.
Not tonight.
Jake.
Too much on my mind. His sigh was defeat, cracks forming. Word from the inside. Lila, in my old body, was unraveling. Letters smuggled via Marcus, scrawled, please, Anna. If that's you, stop. It was for us. I protected you.
Protected?
Delusion. She'd confessed fragments to her cellmate, babbling about the switch. Guards upped her meds. Solitary loomed.
Good.
Let her taste the cage. But doubt crept in, a whisper in the dark. Was this justice or madness? Dad's voice echoed. Useless. No weapon. I'd expose her. Free my name posthumously. Rebuild Whitaker in my image. Controversial? Hell yes. Leaking to the press meant doxing innocents caught in her web, low-level clerks, desperate for jobs. Destroying Jake would orphan his side-hustle dreams. And me, forever a ghost in stolen skin. Midnight runs along the reservoir cleared my head. City lights danced on water, mocking my fractured reflection. One decision loomed, the gala speech. Lila's big moment. Pitching her reform platform. I'd rewrite it subtly sabotage. Drop hints leading to her downfall. Or go nuclear. Full confession. Body swap bombshell. They'd call me insane. Lock me away. But the rush? Intoxicating. As dawn broke over the skyline, I chose. Controversial to the core, mercy with teeth. I'd gut her legacy, but leave her breathing, just to rot in knowing. The gala speech was my Rubicon, the line where whispers became war cries. Standing backstage at the Met, heart hammering like a gavel, I adjusted Lila's emerald gown, silk clinging like a second skin. Alien and empowering. The crowd hummed beyond the curtain, power brokers in tuxes. Socialites dripping diamonds. Cameras hungry for soundbites. Jake squeezed my hand, his touch electric with unease.
Knocking dead.
Lee, irony thick as fog. If only he knew the corpse animating his fiancée. I stepped into the spotlight, mic cool against palm. Scanning faces. Hale's scowl from the front row. Reporters scribbling. Lila's squad clapping like trained seals. Ladies and gentlemen, I began, voice steady, laced with her husky timbre. Tonight isn't about reform, it's about reckoning. Murmurs rippled. I'd scripted it clean at first, vague nods to ethical lapses, but adrenaline surged, twisting words sharper. We've all got skeletons.
Mine?
A friend betrayed. A family shattered. But what if the real thief wears the mask of ally? Gasps echoed. Jake's eyes narrowed from the wings. I pressed on, dropping breadcrumbs. Remember the Whitaker scandal? The junior associate railroaded. Her life erased for another's gain. Slides flickered behind me, redacted docs. Blurred ledgers Marcus had scrubbed clean. What if I told you the fingerprints weren't hers? Chaos erupted shouts, flashes popping like gunfire. Security flanked the stage as I descended, Hale cornering me in the green room. You trying to tank us all? Voss. I smiled. Cold. Just truth-telling. Senator. Your investments in those shells? Safe. For now. By morning. The Times blared. Voss gala bombshell. Embezzlement whistleblower? Her stock plummeted. Whitaker's shares tanked 15%. Partners demanding audits. Jake stormed our penthouse at dawn. Tie askew. Face thunderous. What the fuck was that? You're imploding everything. I poured coffee. Casual as Sunday brunch. Just clearing the air.
Babe.
Lies fester. He paced, ranting about optics. My recklessness. But doubt flickered in his eyes. The first fracture in their fairy tale. That night, he slept on the couch. I lay awake, plotting phase 2. Power's a drug, and Lila's was pure uncut. Her Rolodex read like a who's who of DC dirt. Lobbyists, fixers, even a whisper network of oligarch cutouts. I weaponized it, starting small. A concerned email to the SEC, anonymized via Marcus, attachments linking her uncle's bank to the missing millions. Raids followed, FBI vans outside Jersey branches, headlines screaming Voss family ties to fraud.
Onkel flipped fast.
Plea deal naming names.
Hers topped the list.
Controversy snowballed. Protests clogged Park Avenue, Justice for Anna banners waving beside Free Lila signs from her feminist allies. Talk shows dissected me, Fox calling it deep state sabotage, MSNBC hailing brave accountability. I fed the beast. Granting off-record chats to select journos. Sources say Voss orchestrated the frame job. Check the prison psych evals. Girls cracking. Lila's letters intensified. Smuggled frantic. It was for you,
Anna.
Your folks were drowning the firm in debt. I fixed it. We split the take, your cuts in Aruba.
Lies. But the seed of twist burrowed.
Had she? Dad's old ledgers. Buried in my cloud. Debts I never knew. Loans from shady sources.
No.
She was the snake. Jake confronted me over oysters at Grand Central's oyster bar. His fork stabbing like accusation. This isn't you, Lila. The leaks. The paranoia, you're unraveling. I met his gaze. Fork poised. Or evolving. What if I've been playing a role too long? He recoiled, I pressed. Remember, Anna? How you pitted her. Screwing her best friend behind bars. His face blanched guilt.
Raw.
That was complicated. Complicated. The word ignited me. I slid a folder across. Photos from the wedding. Her hand on his. My ghost in the background. Complicated like this? He bolted. But not before the seed planted. Days later. His text turned pleading. We need to talk. About everything. I strung him along. Meetings in neutral spots, Bryant Park benches. Fog rolling off fountains. He'd confess fragments. Lila seduced him first. But he stayed for the thrill. The access. She promised it'd all work out. Work out, like my ruin? I nodded. Feigning empathy. While inside, the noose tightened. Deeper cuts required dirtier hands. Enter Elena. Lila's stylist, really a fixer from Brighton Beach. Russian accent thick as borscht. I'd overheard her on calls.
Brokering discrete solution.
Over martinis at the Dead Rabbit. I probed. Elena. Darling. Those Cayman worries, any loose ends. Her eyes gleamed. Vodka swilling. For you, Voss, always. A week later. Accidental hacks hit her rivals. Competitors' emails dumped. Scandals blooming. Whitaker clawed back market share. I positioned as savior. But whispers grew. Voss is dirty, playing both sides. The moral rot set in during solitary runs upstate. Visiting myself. Rikers now. Downgraded for agitation. peering through plexiglass at my old body, hollow-cheeked. Eyes wild, Lila ranted. You think you're winning? I built this. Your useless ass would have tanked the firm without me. Useless. Dad's echo. But then. The crack. I covered for you. Anna. That deposition slip-up? You fudged the numbers first, tiny, but traceable. I buried it.
Lie or
I cross-checked later. Heart sinking. A junior audit. 2 years back, my sign-off on a discrepant line item. Sloppy. Not criminal. But she'd amplified it into the frame. Doubt festered like an open wound. Was revenge blinding me? Decisions piled. Leak the full mom files. Exposing the doc, innocent family collateral? Torch Jake's career. Leaving him broken? Or pivot? Expose us both. Swap story as madness plea? The city pulsed indifferent. Taxis honking anthems to chaos. One rainy eve, staring at the Brooklyn Bridge from her yacht club.
chose escalation.
Controversial as crucifixion. Frame the framer. Marcus rigged the drop. Forged suicide note from Lila's server. Dated pre-scandal. Confessing the embezzlement. The affair. Mom's push.
To atone, it read.
Planted in a Vanity Fair embed. It detonated. Jake called hysterical. She's done.
Lee.
We need to run. I met him at our old spot, the High Line. Weeds whispering secrets. Run or fight? He grabbed my arms. Desperate. With you. Always.
Lies.
I kissed him then. Poison chalice. Whispering. Prove it. Testify against her ghosts. He did. Crumbling under subpoena. Spilling bedroom confessions. Trials layered. Civil suits. Criminal probes. Lila's empire smoked. She screamed from her cell. Bitch. You'll pay. But the twist loomed. A shadow lengthening. In her files. A subfolder. Hayes Insurance. Policies, life. On Dad. Mom. Even me. Payouts routed to her accounts. Predated. She'd bet on our falls. Profited from the pain. Rage renewed. But laced with bile. Was I avenging? Or mirroring her monster? The climax brewed. Her arraignment. My testimony. I'd stand in her skin. Unravel the swap. Insanity. Be damned. Let the world debate. Ghost or grifter. As spotlights beckoned, I straightened. One line. To the mirror self. Useless, no more. The fall was coming for all. The courtroom smelled like stale justice, polished wood, sweat-soaked fear, the faint tang of desperation from the gallery. Downtown Manhattan Federal Court, a concrete cathedral to the American dream's underbelly. I sat at the prosecution's table, Lila's manicured nails drumming silently, her power suit a armor of denial. Across the aisle, Anna, my husk, shuffled in orange jumpsuit, chains rattling like accusations. Her eyes, my old browns, locked on mine, feral, knowing. The swap's cruel joke, me pristine. Her decayed. Judge Harlan, a grizzled vet with Bush-era robes, banged the gavel. MS. Voss. Your testimony. Spotlights? Try the glare of fluorescent truth. I rose. Voice amplified through the mic, echoing off marble walls. Your Honor. Members of the jury, Lila Voss didn't just steal money. She stole lives. Gasps from the peanut gallery, reporters, ex-Whitaker's staff, even Jake in the back row. Face ashen.
Il hérité pas. Ledgers?
Emails. The forged codes. She framed me, Anna Hayes, for her crimes. Pushed my mother to suicide. Broke my family for a penthouse view. Slides projected. Timelines. Wire transfers. Mom's tox report. Fentanyl spike undeniable. Lila and me lunged against cuffs. Shrieking. Liar. She's the thief. It's me in there. Anna's puppeteering. Bailiffs wrestle her down. The courtroom buzzed like a hive kicked. Harlan silenced it. Order. But the seed sprouted. Whispers of crazy. Swap delusion. My counsel. A shark named Ruiz I'd poached from her Rolodex. Objected smoothly. Delusional ramblings from the defendant. Your Honor. I continued, dropping the bomb. And the affair with my fiancé. Jake Harlan, no. Wait. Your nephew. Judge. Gasps doubled. Harlan's face purpled. But ethics bound him. Recusal pending. Outside. Media frenzy. Voss testifies against self? Insanity plea? Jake cornered me in the marble hall. Grip bruising.
Lee.
This is suicide.
Why?
I twisted free. Eyes steel. Because truth's the only currency left. He searched my face, her face, flickers of recognition. You're not her. Anna? Heart stuttered, the swap's veil thinning. I bolted. Heels clicking escape to the subway. Anonymity in the rush hour crush. Back in the penthouse. Paranoia peaked. Phones tapped.
Door cams hacked.
Marcus warned. Feds circling.
Anna.
Her uncle's singing, your prince on that audit glitch. The glitch, my sloppiness. The line item I'd signed off in exhaustion. Trusting her review. Had I enabled it? Nights blurred into scotch-fueled what-ifs. Dad's grave visit yielded no peace. Weeds choked the stone. His epitaph mocking, beloved father. Provider. Provider of debts. Apparently, Lila's files confirmed. Loans from her investors, collateral my future. Controversial calculus. Testify fully? Admit the swap. Risk psych ward? Or bury it? Let her fry as boss? The latter tempted, clean win. My name cleared via proxy. But mirrors lied now. Lila's reflection sneered back. Useless thief. Jake's texts pleaded meets. I agreed. Neutral ground. A dive bar in Hell's Kitchen. Neon flickering like bad omens. He slid into the booth. Whiskey neat. Eyes hollow. I know it's you.
Anna.
The way you look at me, like I murdered you. Confession spilled. The affair started as revenge, me neglecting him for work, but Lila hooked him with promises. She said you'd never know. Then the frame. She swore it was merciful, sparing you the firm's collapse. Merciful? I laughed. Bitter. Like killing Mom? He paled.
What?
No, she said overdose was accident. Lies layered. I slapped the folder down. The doc's texts. Payout wires. Your lover's masterpiece. He broke then, sobbing into calloused hands. I loved you first. Forgive. Forgiveness? A luxury for the living. But the twist gnawed. His complicity? Yes. But her design? I left him there. Shattered. Controversial mercy. Letting him live with ghosts. Trial dragged. Weeks of attrition. Prosecution called witnesses. Ex-clerks fingering her hacks. Auditors tracing shells. Defense painted me, Voss, as vengeful harpy. Postpartum from scandal. Postpartum? I'd birthed her ruin. Lila testified. Chains mocking. Ranting swap conspiracies. Witchcraft. Or tech, some Neuralink shit. Jury tittered. Psych eval followed. Diagnosing. Acute delusional disorder. Game over. Climax crested on day 28. Closing arguments. Rain lashed windows like judgment. I took the stand unbidden.
Ruiz pretesting.
Your Honor. One truth. Harlan. Recused but observing. Nodded wearily. The woman you see as boss? She's me. Anna Hayes. Swapped in that crash, souls or synapses. Call it fate. Gasps. Pencils scratched fury. I came back to avenge. But here's the reverse. She covered my mistake first. That audit? My error snowballed into greed. We both fell. Chaos reigned, objections flying. Harlan gaveling silence. Lila cackled from the dock. See? She's mad, but eyes shifted. Doubt. Fascination. Was it absolution or damnation? I stepped down. Legs jelly. The courtroom a blur. Verdict deliberations stretched eternal. 3 days of citywide debate. Protests swelled. Believe women or ghosts. Pundits pontificated. My confession trended. Memes of body swap horror flicks. Jake vanished. Radio silent. Suicide watch rumors. Elena called. Accent clipped. Voss. You burn bridge? Oligarchs angry. Threat veiled. I ghosted her. Burner tossed in the Hudson. On the 4th dawn. Verdict read. Guilty. All counts fraud. Manslaughter. Conspiracy. Lila howled as cuffs tightened. Sentenced to 25. No parole. Gallery erupted. I slipped out. Rain-soaked streets swallowing me. Victory? Ashes. My name cleared posthumously. Pardon pending. But the swap? And proven myth. Me forever Voss in flesh. Twist's aftershock hit en route home. A package at the lobby. Unmarked. Inside. Aruba keys. Deed to a villa my cut. Per her ravings. And a note. Her scrawl. We were partners.
Anna.
Useless alone. Reverse truth. Symbiosis in sin. Had she engineered the crash? Some black market soul tech from her Russian ties? Files hinted, prototype, transfer patents. Buried deep. Doubt devoured. Revenge sated. But hollow. Dad's voice. Useless. No, complicit. Controversial endgame loomed. Expose the tech. Append science? Or vanish? Reclaim scraps? I chose the bridge. Not to jump.
But to burn.
Matches to the deed. Flames dancing in gutter puddles. One call to Marcus. Torch it all. The patents. The proofs. Hire for a shared hell. But Jake? He waited at the door. Eyes red-rimmed. Anna. Let me help.
Help.
The word hung. Debatable salvation. Epilogues aren't tidy in this city. They're jagged. Like the skyline's teeth against a bruised horizon. 6 months post-verdict. And Lila rotted in ADX Florence. Supermax solitude for high-risk white collars. Her appeals drowned in red tape. The swap story? Tabloid fodder. Dismissed as Voss's fever dream.
Me?
I shed her skin metaphorically. Dyed hair back to my chestnut. Contacts swapping blues for browns. Haunting the penthouse like a specter in Chanel. Whitaker? Rebuilt under her stewardship. Ethical audits mandatory. My whistleblower halo ironic crown. But peace? Elusive as a cab in crosstown traffic. Mornings brought nausea, not guilt. But the swap's toll. Phantom pains in my old scars. Whispers of her psyche bleeding through. Dreams of Alderson's yard. Chains on my wrists. And the parents' ghosts? Dad's grave I tended weekly. Weeding with calloused hands, Lila's. Manicured no more. Useless. Huh. I'd mutter to the stone. Look at me now, pyromaniac avenger. Mom's plot beside. Wildflowers I'd planted thriving defiant. Her overdose note. Framed in my mind. Shame ends here. But it hadn't, until I ended it for her. Jake's help morphed into uneasy truce. He moved back, subletting his Tribeca walk-up, sleeping in guest room like a penitent monk.
Nights.
We'd talk till dawn, raw confessions over takeout lo mein. No silverware, just fingers greasy with regret. I was weak, he'd admit, tracing veins on her wrist. Lila dazzled, you grounded. I chose flash over fire.
Fire. Me.
I'd nod, swallowing bile. Because forgiveness? Controversial currency. Sex was off table, his touch repulsed. A reminder of betrayal sweat. But companionship? A raft in the storm. The real unraveling came via Elena's ghost. A week after the verdict. Her warning escalated. Black SUVs tailing my runs. Anonymous drops of dead rats on the doorstep. Russian mob sign language for pay-up. Lila's oligarch patrons. Burned by exposure. Hunted the puppeteer. Marcus fortified. Jammers. False trails. A safe house in the Catskills prepped. You lit the fuse.
Anna.
Now dodge the blast. I didn't dodge, I confronted. Tracked Elena to a vodka den in Little Odessa. Brighton Beach boardwalk howling whined off the Atlantic. She lounged at the bar. Fur-clad. Cigarette dangling like a fuse. Voss or Hayes. Doesn't matter. You cost my friends millions. Her laugh was gravel. Lila promised shares. Now, nothing. I slid a thumb drive across scarred oak. Whitaker restitution funds. Laundered clean.
Take it.
Walk. She pocketed it. Eyes narrowing.
And the switch.
Her babble true. I leaned in. Breath mingling smoke. Truth's debatable. Like mercy. She vanished post that. Tails lifted. But the encounter cracked something. Lila's residue. Her ruthlessness seeping. I mirrored her now, cutting corners on audits. Incentivizing donors with gray area perks. Whitaker boomed. But ethics? Bends. Not breaks. Controversial evolution. Avenger to anti-hero. The final twist dropped like a verdict hammer. Courtesy Marcus's midnight hack. Buried in a Swiss vault. Video from the crash site. Not accident, sabotage. Brake lines cut. Van tampered hours prior. And the culprit? A blurry figure in prison blues, my contact. The medic who'd sign my transfer. Paid off by Lila's Jersey Shell. She'd orchestrated the swap. Betting on some experimental consciousness echo, tech from a black site lab, Russian defector's pet project. Tested on death row volunteers. Her note in the files, if she dies. Insurance pays. If she swaps, leverage eternal. Reverse truth, not cosmic joke, but calculated gamble. She'd framed me to isolate, then killed to bind, eternal puppet if the tech stuck. But it backfired. I was the puppeteer now. Rage?
Spent.
Replaced by pity's sharp edge. Partners in perdition. Ending? Debatable as dawn over the Hudson. I could have exposed it, leaked vids, toppled empires, sparked global panic over Soltech ethics. Protests, congressional hearings, me as martyr or madwoman. Or burned it, Like the deed, let the secret die with her. I chose fire. Again. Drive to the lab's coordinates. Abandoned warehouse in Red Hook. Ghosts of industry rusting. Flames devoured servers. Blueprints curling black. Jake watched from the car. Silent sentinel. This ends it, he asked later. Over dawn coffee. Or starts. Both, I said. Stirring sugar, 2 lumps. My old habit. Useless Anna?
Dead.
Voss?
Shed.
What remained? A hybrid. Scarred but standing. We'd marry. Not her gala fantasy. But quiet city hall. Witnesses Marcus and a barista. Honeymoon? Upstate cabin. No signals. Just leaves turning. But debates linger. Friends, real ones. Unearthed from college shadows. Whisper. Hero or villain. Victim or volunteer. The swaps mechanics? Quantum fluke or Frankenstein hubris. Lila dies in chains. Unrepentant to the end, last letter. We deserved each other. True? One line changed it all. That morning mirror vow. Parents' mocks? Fuel to Phoenix. City indoors. Indifferent, taxis honking. Deals churning.
Me?
I walk the high line now. Weeds whispering approval. Useless? Never again. Weapon? Always. And in the debatable dawn. That's victory enough.